very much. I also want to echo your thanks to David Sorkin and everyone at the JCC for letting us use this facility today, but also for having such a beautiful and wonderful facility that gives so much to Staten Island. So thank you, David, and everybody. I also want to thank Jill Gottlieb of JCC for her help. Jeff Kravitz of the Chamber, who's been particularly helpful with our work around getting security cameras on the North Shore and is still working with us a year later on that issue. And so thank you. And I want to echo your thanks to Ralph. You got to love somebody who brings breakfast. So that is always a good thing. As Linda said, we have been doing, my colleagues and I, these credit ready fairs throughout the city. This is actually our 7th credit ready fair. Oh, Vinny's here! How funny is that? Because we were just in the car, and I have a little bit of a gap in my schedule, which, as Jimmy will tell you, will make me hysterical. I'm like, there's a half an hour, there's nothing on the schedule, we need a call. And one of the people in the car said, I think Pistosis would fit in perfectly. And that's very, very funny. And I just moved apartments on Friday, and we're looking in the fridge, and I said to Kim, my partner, are we really, we're going to move all the frozen food? She said, this is a frozen Pistosis sauce. This is going to the new house. So it's so great that Vinny is here today. I also, just as I digress for a second, Vinny and a lot of exactly, I know we never digress. The mayor's office.
Segways?
Exactly. It's great to have Vinny here and all of you here, because one of the things we're trying to do, not just with the credit ready fairs, but with our regulatory review under the leadership of the minority leader and the other members of the council, is to try to change the council and government's relationship with small businesses, to actually embrace the kind of customer service model you guys use every day. And Vinny has told us real life experiences from his store, as a lot of other business people have. And if we don't have that direct from the field info, we're never going to really know what happens. Because you talk to the agencies about enforcement, they say it's perfect. Not so much, right? You talk to the Department of Finance, oh, the building is perfect. Not so much. So you guys being here gives us the real examples of what's happening, which we then can take back into our work at City Hall and hopefully improve things for all of you. So just want to thank you guys for that, because I know that's a little bit of a risk, because you're worried what's going to happen when you do something like that. So I really just want to thank you. But before I got distracted, I was saying this is our 7th Credit Ready Fair. And part of the reason we did this Credit Ready Fair is when this recession hit, it had an immediate impact on everybody. But no one more so in a lot of ways than small businesses. Because small businesses, and I know this from having run a small not-for-profit, you often exist on your credit line. You exist on having the support of lending institutions. Doesn't mean you're not well run. Doesn't mean you're not making money. It's just the reality of it. And when credit dried up overnight, it felt like that, it put a lot of small businesses in a tough spot. And one of the things we realized was that there were actually some good programs out there run by banks for small businesses. Senator Schumer had started something upstate called Second Look Credit for Success. It was actually kind of the banks had put aside, if you will, a pot of money that they would use when an application for a loan had been rejected. They would go take a second look at it and say, you know, this may not be right for our traditional lending, but here's a pool we've set aside for riskier loans to small businesses. Let's look at this loan through that lens. And it has gotten money out to small businesses upstate. I'm working with Senator Schumer and Congressman Velasquez and the New York State Banking Association and others. We've rolled that out now in the 5 boroughs. Now, interestingly, another thing we've heard from the banks is sometimes small businesses come in and they think they're ready for a loan, but they're not. And they'll leave thinking we've rejected them. We're not really rejecting them. We're telling them to cross your T's, dot your I's, etc. Which is why, and there's some of them around here, came out with a pamphlet that you also can download online that's called Credit Ready. It's a guide developed with the banks to help small businesses, when you go in for that loan, be ready to actually get the money. And look, I knew Tazula would come with one as soon as I said that. So we urge folks to take these, download them, and use them. So far, we have had, in our 7 Credit Ready Fairs, 400 small business owners, entrepreneurs, and startup attend. And the exciting thing, I mean, that's a good number, but the really exciting thing is the emails we've been getting after the Credit Ready Fairs about businesses who have specific typically gotten loans they needed that they think they wouldn't have gotten had they not been able to make this face-to-face connection. So I just want to thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Hope that we have as much success on Staten Island as we've had in the other boroughs. And just close before I turn it over to my colleagues, just saying, you guys know what you need government to do and to not do, and I just urge you to stay in touch with my office and their offices so we can be doing that to try to support your work, supporting this borough and your work, putting your friends and neighbors to work. So thank you guys very, very much. And now let me call up our minority leader, Jimmy Allen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Whoa. I think we should begin by taking up a collection of quarters so we can feed the meters out in front of the 25 cents doesn't buy you what it once did. The second thing I want to say is, my, what a good-looking group you are. I actually shaved for you today. Vinny did not. I actually was in a paint store yesterday, and a woman who is somewhat known in the circles of Staten Island, she's been in the paper numerous times in the education field, looked at me and said, "Are you an?" I was in a polo shirt and a goatee, and she said, "Are you an Otto?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And she said, "You've aged much better than the youngest one." I swear to you. And I said to her, "I am the youngest one." So, was it a compliment that in person I'm better looking, or I'll start with a little humor because Christine Quinn is here, and when Christine Quinn is on Staten Island, if she's standing here in the Mid-Island and she has a booming laugh, you could hear it in Debbie's district, in Vinny's district, and it's always wonderful to have the speaker here. She's been coming to this borough for a long time, long before she was the speaker, when she was the chair of the health committee, fighting with us, alongside of us, on health issues. And now that she is the speaker, she's here on a whole host of issues. And it's just wonderful, frankly, for someone like me, with my philosophy and my bent, to see government trying to help small business and not government getting in the way of small business. And the speaker has taken some politically courageous steps in recent months, as all of you are aware, because she tries to match our actions with the rhetoric. Everyone talks about small businesses, the backbone of our economy. Small business is this, and small business is that, and then we continue to put on, hello, Councilman Marina.
Chair of our small business.
Chair of our small business. But so many people talk about small business, but their rhetoric, their actions don't match their rhetoric. And here, the speaker is trying to do that, and she continues to do that across the board. She mentioned the committee that she formed along with Mayor Bloomberg, but we did a lot of work trying, frankly, to change the culture, trying to work with the administration, but actually to try to change the culture within the administration. And that's a tricky thing, to bring people in a room and not to insult them, but to say in strong words on behalf of small businesses, we have to change the way we behave as a city. And that's a little bit of a tricky thing. And it's like changing the direction of the battleship, and slowly we're doing that. So I'm just grateful that she's here today and my colleagues are here today. And as always, it doesn't have to be a press conference. We are here. Just pick up the phone, email, call, stop by, and we will try to do whatever we can to be helpful.
Thank you. Councilman Venezia, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, everybody. Just briefly to touch upon what Councilman MAH00006 said, I still think government is a problem all too often in the way of businesses. But I appreciate the speaker finally recognizing that it's a problem, and that's part of the issue. So many of my businesses, I have tens of millions of dollars in investment waiting on the sidelines in my district alone that want to expand, that want to continue to grow, and they don't because, quite frankly, government gets in the way. And with identifying the problem, then you come up with solutions. And for the speaker and her perch as one of the top politicals in New York City to acknowledge that this is a problem that we're facing here in the city really sends volumes to all of us to say there's somebody behind us in the city that's going to have wind at our sails to push us forward, ultimately to expand, and that will ultimately net additional jobs, additional monies to you and ultimately to the economy. So I appreciate that recognition, and I'm going to continue to work with the speaker, my colleague Debbie Rose, my colleague Giuliano, and our great chair of the small business, Diana Reyna, to ensure that the business community is one that is able to grow and that government doesn't stand in its way. Currently, sadly, that is the case in a lot of things, and working together and identifying these problems with you will allow us to continue to grow. So thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you today. Thanks.
Councilmember Debbie Rose.
Good morning. It's so good to see you all here. I'm so excited. Madam Speaker, we had a great turnout, right?
Yes, terrific.
It's a great turnout. And I just want to thank you. I'm not going to read my prepared remarks, but I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the vendors who are here, the businesses that are here, the experts that are here to give the information to those of you who came. You know, businesses are struggling. Small businesses struggling all over. And it really is, and I need to ditto what all of my colleagues have said this morning in terms of this particular city council is so business friendly. And I want to thank the speaker for taking these credit fairs around so that people are made aware of what is out there and what is available. And so I want to thank you all. I want to thank Chairperson Reyna, who does an excellent job on the Small Business Committee, making sure that all of your needs are addressed and that your voice is heard. And so I want to thank the Chair Reyna and Councilwoman, not Councilwoman, Speaker Quinn, and my colleagues, because we know that you're going through tough times, but we also want to be helpful in that effort and in that endeavor. So I thank you all for coming. I want to encourage you to continue to seek out all that's available, and I want to say that, Vinny, we are working on that parking situation. Thank you so much.
I'd like to welcome the Chair of the Small Business Committee, Councilmember Diana Reyna.
Well, good morning to you all. I know that we've had several comments already mentioned, but I do have to just bow to our delegation from the Staten Island borough, which is always well heard because our minority leader, as far as Jimmy Otto is concerned, Staten Island never gets left behind. They're first in line. And I want to just appreciate the yeoman's job that the delegation has always put before their personal needs on behalf of the Staten Island New Yorkers, because when you walk into this borough, it's like walking into a different location in the city of New York. What suburbia, and that's a credit to all of you. I want to just share with you that I am privileged to chair the Committee on Small Businesses, and the confidence that the speaker has placed upon me is one that I want to obviously excel on, but more so make sure that I take what is already a foundation she has built and just run full speed ahead. Whatever obstacles there are, that we challenge those obstacles to tear them down. And clearly, it's been said by the Republicans time and time again, but this isn't about a partisan issue. This is a true fact that wherever we go, we hear from small businesses, stay out of our way, please. And those are deafening words. And how do we stay out of the way of small business? To help them do what we need most, it's create jobs that sustain our communities. And it's such common sense, but government never operates with common sense. And so it's our job, being leaders and representatives of government, to make some sense out of what you're telling us. And we're hoping to do that as we engage what is the lending community, whether that's micro or traditional institutions, to making sure that within a 28-day cycle, we will no longer hear 100% denials. Applications cannot continue to be processed where there is an activation of denial as opposed to approval. And how do we do that? It's to make sure that we're engaging where in the most rural or urban environment, most local or obvious of environments. I represent Williamsburg, Bushwick in Williamsburg, in Brooklyn, and Ridgewood, Queens. And so I have 2 boroughs to manage. My colleague, Jimmy Otto, is who I learned from because he has to manage Staten Island and Brooklyn. And there's only 3 of us who have to manage 2 boroughs like this in all of the council. But it's important and critical that we continue to spur what is an environment that will continue to assist small businesses. And the most mundane regulations, the ones that we created long ago that we never revisit, are the ones that we have to start abolishing, eliminating, call it what you wish, but we need to get it out of the small business ways, and we need to start engaging what is very realistic environments that will continue to thrive businesses, because the bottom line here is we need you. We need you to create the jobs that New Yorkers want. We're not looking for handouts. People, New Yorkers, are not looking for handouts. They want sustainable homes, they want sustainable communities, they want a sustainable New York. And that is what we're hoping to engage all of our small business communities and all its partners. I want to thank JCC for hosting us, and once again, our speaker for guaranteeing what would be a journey. We're not sprinting, it's a marathon. Thank you very much.
I wanted to kind of echo what everybody said here. This is all about partnerships with the City Council, partnerships with all our lending institutions, our government institutions, our LDCs, all the business services that are here today. It has been a very difficult time. From the Chamber's perspective, we have 800 members, represent 20,000 employees here on Staten Island. We get calls every day on specific things. Vinny called me about the parking meters a few weeks back, and whether it's sidewalk repair or whether it's the health department coming in and issuing fines and fees, and we have great partnership here with the City Council to address these problems and trying to help businesses here on Staten Island, and access to capital and creating jobs is the #1 priority. And I really think that with everybody in this room and working through the Chamber of Commerce in this borough, there's a lot of access, a lot of information, and a lot of help that's out there. So I hope that you all take advantage of that, and appreciate you being partners of the Chamber and of the City Council and Department of Small Business Service. Thank you all for coming today. Stick around. Hope you get the assistance that you need. Thank you.